Hey, welcome. This is a little tutorial on how to change an equation into standard ellipse form and then sketch it. So two forms of the equation that we might want to look at here. If you are to have, first of all, let me point out here in the green box we got that left this off. When you're talking about A and B, A's always got to be greater than B when you're talking about an ellipse. That being said, so you got two possibilities that we can look at. So if I have the x squared term over top of the a, which is bigger, plus the y squared term over the b, which is smaller, and all ellipse equations are set equal to 1. Another possibility over here, on the other side here, we got a y squared if he's over the bigger number, which obviously would leave the x squared underneath the smaller, or above the smaller number, equals 1. So in this particular situation over here on the left, when you've got the x squared term over top of the bigger number, and you are talking about an ellipse that goes long ways, or that direction. So other side of the coin, if you happen to have, clear over here, get the a squared underneath the y. That's just going to tell us that we're talking about an ellipse that's traveling north and south along the y-axis. So that particular ellipse is going to look more like a upright football, so to speak. And he's going to look like that instead. So let's take a look at this equation down below. Sketch the ellipse, and we can identify the vertices and foci later. But essentially, you have to have 1 on the end for either version of the equation. So the 490's got to go. So how do I get rid of it or get it down to 1? Yeah, pretty simple. Divide by 490, but that means I have to divide everything by 490. So let's check out what the equation is down to. Well, hey, 49 over 490 would reduce down to 1 over 10. So I've got an x squared over 10. Plus, I get a 10 over 490 for the y term. That's going to reduce down to 1 over 49, or y squared over 49. And of course, 490 divided by 490 is 1. So we've got standard ellipse form. So if you notice, we have got oops, wrong guy. Got the y squared over the bigger number. So it tells me my football, or my ellipse, is going to be upright. So let's figure out how to get that guy sketched. So if the bigger number is a, that means my a squared is 49. Smaller number is b, or b squared, so my b squared is 10. Well, I'm going to square root both sides. And I'm going to find out square root of 10, of course, doesn't come out even, so approximately 3.2. Kind of important as far as graphing goes. See why here in a minute. If I do the same thing for the a's, square root both sides, and I know that a is 7. Well, since this guy doesn't have anything attached with the x, nothing with the y, there's no digits up here on top, then our vertex, our center of the ellipse, is understood to be at 0, 0. So a equals 7, but we already determined he's underneath the y, which means I have to go north and south along the y-axis 7 units. And I've got one vertex. I like labeling them, put a little v for vertex. And I've got to go 7 units south. There's my other vertex. So I know the football is going to travel up and down. Well, B, technical name for that is the co-vertex. So 3.2 units. Well, 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. So let's see if I can actually draw a halfway decent ellipse for you. Yeah, I missed by a little bit, but not too bad. All right, well, what else do we need to know? So identify the vertices and the foci. We didn't need the foci to do the drawing. The foci to do the drawing. However, we certainly could identify the vertices and simply just get a count. You already have the coordinates 7 up, 0, comma 7, 7 down, 0, comma -7. So that's your vertices. Now the foci, well, hey, we got a formula for that. So I'm going to scroll back up for just a second. And here's the focus formula. C squared equals A squared minus B squared. So let's try that. So C squared is A squared minus B squared. Well, C stands for focus. We don't know that guy yet. But we did know that A squared was 49. And we did know that B squared was 10. So if I subtract those guys, C squared equals 39. Square root both sides, find out what the length of C is. And square root of 39 is approximately, pardon my terrible approximation symbol, 6.2. So as far as drawing it goes, I could go ahead and try to squeeze these in here. So 6.2, well, right about there. I could put an F for foci. Negative 6.2, right about there. To put an F for foci. But more importantly, it did say in the directions, assuming you needed to find that, to identify the coordinates of the foci. Well, if the vertices are 0, comma 7, then the foci has to be 0, comma something. So the question is, well, how far up did you go to get to that? So I know we went approximately 6.2, but hey, we're mathematicians. We want to be accurate. So where did the 6.2 come from in the first place? Well, hey, that was the square root of 10. So to be accurate, I'm going to say the coordinate is 0, comma square root of 10. And the other one obviously went in the other direction. That's 0, comma negative square root of 10. So there's a sketch of an ellipse and how to find the vertices and foci. Thanks.